very good morning.
Good morning.
It's Friday. What better way to kick off your weekend than spending the next couple of hours with us? Relax, make a cup of tea.
Is it that long?
Yes,
couple of hours?
yes,
Doesn't
2
time
hours.
fly when
Does
you're
it not
enjoying
seem
yourself?
like that?
Not in 2 minutes, it feels like. Oh, we've got all sorts of delights for you today, including the humiliation of being rejected by a bisexual bin man. Happens all the time, doesn't it?
Does it? Nicola Blackstock, actress Nicola Wheeler, is arriving now at our studio. Look at her, is she incorrigible? You don't think she'd have learnt a lesson? Put him down! Leave the man alone!
Oh, he's pulled, look. First time that's happened to Dave in years. He'll be happy. He'll be a happy man.
Yeah.
Also coming up, he's the man who made famous these immortal words.
It's a commercial.
Yes, bringing us a bit of sauce today with his collection of naughty seaside snaps, Mr. Michael Winner.
And
These are a few of my favourite things.
someone else bringing a few of her favourite things is Andrea Mafflin. Believe it or not, the high street, she says, is full of bargains. You can get this for as little as that.
No.
Plus, have a look at this. Would you know what to do if you saw someone having an asthma attack or a fit of some sort? According to new research, over half of us wouldn't have a clue what to do if we saw a person having an attack. Dr. Chris is here later with some essential life-saving procedures. Now, it's on the front page of the newspapers today. There you go. Posh and Becks have settled their libel action against the News of the World. It's not the first time the Beckhams have taken action against the newspaper, and they're certainly not the only celebrities who have taken on the media. Often their attempts to sue bring more attention to the allegations, and at great expense too, than what they were initially talking about. So why do they do it?
Why do they indeed?
Here with their theories,
Morning.
we've got lawyer Mark Stevens and our showbiz expert Ashley Pearson. Morning, guys.
Morning.
So, let's make clear, first of all, the allegations haven't been dropped. The allegations, the charges haven't been dropped. What has happened is that they have reached a confidential agreement. So that's important to point out, first of all. Do you think, Mark, in your experience as a lawyer, taking on, if you're a celebrity, taking on the newspapers is often far more serious and has far more greater reaching circumstances than if you'd left it alone in the first place?
Absolutely, and in this particular case, you've got to think that it was foolhardy in the extreme. You have to preface that by saying, you know, David and Victoria Beckham, celebrities, yes, but also human beings. And the stories that they were betrayed by their nanny, who, in breach of a confidentiality agreement, revealed all to the newspapers, must, as a human being, really hurt inside. But that shouldn't be, I mean, they're media savvy. That shouldn't be the reason that you go and start suing, because nobody wants to have the intimacies of their marriage. Everybody's had an argument in their marriage, everybody's had a row, but we don't want that exposed to public view. That's what happens behind closed doors. That's a domestic.
They must have felt strongly enough this time, because lots of things have been written about the Beckhams, as we know, but they must have felt so strongly this time.
I think they did, Ruth, but I
it.
think the reason was that they felt that deep personal hurt. But it's our job as a lawyer to say to them, you feel that hurt, but you're going to feel it 10 times more, because what's happened since then? Since then, we've seen, you know, effectively the dogs unleashed from Wapping. All the tabloids have had every woman, every trollop across Europe hitting on David Beckham. We've all seen those sort of long-distance shots of him in a lay-by with unnamed women. You know, those are all images which are calculated to gather the evidence for the lawyers like me to bring to court to say, actually, the allegations that we made were true, which is what the News of the World
So what
was
are you saying, that they should just ignore it? Because surely, you know, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because if something's printed that's quite outrageous allegation, and you say nothing, then the assumption is, well, it must be true, because they didn't argue the case, they didn't take them to court.
I think that there is something to that, but the point about it is, do you really want the intimacies of your marriage dissected by a lawyer forensically in a courtroom? And the answer is probably not, because what's going to happen is that all of the discussion about that will occur, because it will be in public, will be in every single newspaper. I mean, it becomes a story in itself. So something that could be confined to a couple of weekends and perhaps you know, swept under the carpet for immediately, is suddenly exacerbated. Something that was a wound becomes a hankering, festering sore infected with gangrene. You know.
What's your take on this? Like Philip said, the papers are saying, oh, it's been dropped, but it's been settled. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think this is very interesting.
It's all quietly gone away.
Well, it has quietly gone away, but it's been quietly going away for some time. This is a case which, in legal terms, has gone awful slow. If the Beckhams had really wanted to push this case, it would have been in court and heard and dealt with a year ago. The fact it hasn't indicates to me as a lawyer that perhaps they haven't been pursuing this as vigorously as they might, and perhaps they have been looking to try and settle this case and get out from a position which perhaps they realised was not a sensible position in which to find themselves. And you add to that the fact that this is a confidential settlement. And now, the News of the World are never going to want a confidential thing. I mean, and indeed the Beckhams, if they'd won, wouldn't want confidence. They'd be out there crowing about a great victory and how they'd put the press back in their place. So I think that this is a serious victory for the News of the World, and that's what I read into that confidentiality clause. It's nearly always what happens.
There have been stories in the past, though, where we have found out about an article we never saw in the first place, something that was sort of this big in a newspaper somewhere, and then that particular celebrity has decided that they take great umbrage against that and they're going to sue. The minute they sue, then it starts to get column inches like this, and then they lose and it's got column inches like this. You think it was only that big in the first place. Shut up!
Yeah, I mean, you know, when in a hole, stop digging. And one of the problems that we have as lawyers is that very often we don't get to see, particularly the uber celebrities, the super celebrity, you don't actually get to sit down and talk to them and actually advise them and counsel them about what can go wrong. I mean, my job is partly to sit down and say, okay, you're very hurt, I can give you a remedy, but is the remedy going to be worse? You know, is the cure going to be worse than what you've already had? And we really have got to sit down and think about that, and you've got to make a rational decision about
Ashley,
it.
the stars themselves, you wonder whether, and I'm not necessarily mentioning anything that we're talking about here today, but they seem to be wrapped in such a bubble with people, with a whole bunch of yes people around them. They're told constantly what they want to hear. The world is beautiful and rosy and always lovely and bright and shiny, and then someone says something very nasty, and so you go for them big time, and would probably be encouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, it's in your lawyer's best interest most of the time to agree to go forward with the lawsuit, because they stand to make a lot of money by going forward.
That's how we put our children through education.
Well, there you go. At least he is honest about it.
Man's got to make a living.
Yeah. I mean, and also, as you say, they're surrounded by people who tell them constantly how great they are, how beautiful they are, and all of a sudden someone says something very mean, and I'm sure it does really hurt, but they react in an emotional way instead of a rational way. And the perfect example is what you said earlier, when a gay porn wrestler said that he'd had an affair with Tom Cruise. It was written in a very small French internet website, and nobody would have seen it, and certainly wouldn't have reported it. As soon as Tom Cruise sued this guy, it became national news. Tom Cruise is suing.
That's quite an allegation.
Well, it
though,
is,
but
it would have gone away.
It?
It was a rumor. It was unsubstantiated. This guy had no evidence, and it would have gone away immediately.
Yeah, but as Ruth says, it's a nightmare situation. What happens if you don't say anything?
Oh, he must be gay.
Never said.
Well, I agree. I think it's a fine line, because you're absolutely right. If the celebrity doesn't sue, it can become part of the public lore about that celebrity, and people assume it is true. I think.
In fact, we've seen that just this last week with the Ashley Cole case. You know, everybody knew who the person was that we were talking about in the News of the News of the World were talking about. He'd been jigsaw identified, and it got to a point where Ashley Cole had to sue, because can you imagine what was going to come off the terraces at him, the conversations that he was having to have, because people had made these false allegations about him.
But there are some stars who are much more litigious than
absolutely.
others.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, for example, she's quickly becoming one of the most litigious celebrities in Hollywood. When she sued Hello Magazine for publishing unauthorized photographs of her wedding, that certainly had nothing to do with something becoming part of the public lore. That was a matter of the fact that she didn't like the way she looked in those pictures, and she hadn't agreed to give them photographs, and she felt it was an invasion of privacy, even though she'd sold her pictures to someone else. I think that case brought her a tremendous amount of unfavorable publicity.
But wasn't it when they won that case, I believe?
Well, they won, and then it was reversed on appeal.
Yeah,
so
but wasn't it that they said, oh, £1 million is not enough for us?
Well, she was famously quoted as saying, well, £1 million isn't very much to someone like us.
But don't you think really that we lose sympathy with celebrities celebrities, because we read about how much they earn and, and these wonderful super lives they have.
Yeah.
That really, you know, you say, well, say what? Somebody wrote something bad about you. Mostly they write nice things, which a lot of the time you court that publicity yourself.
I think there's a fine line when it's a good idea to sue and the public will support that, and when it's going to make you look like a bit of a bully and a bit ungrateful.
So just finally, very quickly, Mark, so someone comes to you, a celebrity comes to you and says, look at this, I'm thinking of suing. What's your advice as a lawyer?
I always go through with them, what's the downside, and then we make a rational assessment. Is the cure worse than what's already happened, the poison that's already gone in?
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. OK, it's competition time now. How about £10,000 to get your weekend off to a cracking start?
Yes, by the end of today, you could be £10,000 richer, but what would you like to be spending that lot on?
If I won £10,000 on this morning, I'd take my friends on a lovely holiday to prove how much I love them, but there would be change because we'd need to go to Menlo Blarney and Jimmy Choo's for shoe shopping for our holiday.
I'd probably blow the whole lot on clothes.
On house improvements and ourselves.
Holidays.
Well, to be in with a chance of winning £10,000, all you have to do is answer this question. Now, if someone is mean with their money, then they're often said to be A, tight-footed, B, tight-fisted, or C, tight-headed.
You just call 09012 93 33 33. That's 09012 93 33 33. Lines close at 12:15. You can enter by text. Text the word WIN along with your answer A, B or C to 83336. You can also enter online, and if you're a digital satellite viewer, you can enter by pressing your red button now, and the best of luck. Now, when Michael Winner started collecting comedy seaside postcards 25 years ago, his friends thought he was mad, wasting money on something that wasn't even art.
Ah, but Michael's having the last laugh now, though. His collection of nearly 200 postcards go up for auction next week, and the pricier ones are thought to be selling for over £2,000 each. And here's why.
Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. Oh, I do like to stroll along the from, where the brass bands play tiddly-up, So just let me be beside the seaside, beside the seaside, beside the sea.
Sorry, I'm just trying to ease myself gracefully.
Michael's here now. You must be looking at your mates and thinking, you see, if you'd invested like I did, they all thought you were mad.
Now, just a minute. May I first correct two supreme intellects sitting opposite me on the chairs?
Oh, no, what have we done
They
now?
are not postcards. What they're selling are the original watercolours that McGill did for the postcards, and they're not in auction. They're at the Chris Beatles Gallery, which is a very posh and excellent gallery in St James's.
Well, we stand
So now
corrected.
But I will not be issuing proceedings against you. It's all right.
You bigged it up big time now.
Donald McGill. Have I got that right?
You've got that right.
I got that bit right.
Donald McGill.
So tell us about him. This is the
Well,
man
he was
who
a very
famous for these.
dividend little, he looked like a bank clerk, and he painted these very saucy postcards from about 1900 to 1962. And they chronicle the whole life of the country. They're absolutely beautifully painted. The painters stayed very firm and rich, full of life, full of character. And in those days, strange enough, he was prosecuted for obscenity for some of them and had to pay a fine. And even today, when the gallery sent out the invitation to the opening, which on the front of which was a very fat man lying on the beach. I'm not sure if it was meant to be me, but it was a McGill. One woman wrote to them and said, I'm cancelling my, please don't send me any more. You have dreadful that you sent me this awful picture. It's humiliating that it came in the post as an open postcard. So even today, it caused offence.
What was the attraction to you? Because you started collecting these, what, 20-odd years ago?
25 years ago. Well, but I just came across some in a little shop, and they were so vibrant, they were so full of colour, they were so full of life, and very funny captions, you know, they're sort of Carry On, Frankie Howard, Benny Hill of their day. I kept collecting them, and I ended up with nearly 200, except I didn't have anywhere to put them. I've got an enormous house, but I don't have any wall space, so they've been in a drawer, and I take them out occasionally, like Fagin and Oliver Twist, looking at his ill-gotten gain. I look at them and I put them back in the drawer. I thought they really deserve more than that.
But did you think when you were collecting them, you know, did you just collect them because you liked them, or did you think one day these might be collectible?
Oh no, I collect them because I love them, and I collected a lot of children's art from books, the original art, And that, strange enough, it's been an enormous rise in the market for anything sort of stupid or childish. It's always been the biggest rise, I think, in the market. I didn't think of that for a minute, and I didn't think I'd ever sell them. But so when the Chris Beatles, who owns this splendid gallery, people say to him, why is Winner selling? He says, because he's hard up. People keep ringing me, saying, well, here, you're hard up, down to my last 60 million.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at a couple here, and their captions, the ones that go with them. We've got, there you go, there's a lovely smooth sea here with a nice sandy bottom. See, it's just a reminder of sort of much more innocent times. And another one, let's have a look at another one. And high and dry on the coast here.
How do I get that one? Oh, yes, I do.
He's got a bottle of beer.
Mother told me I shouldn't get picked up by strange men.
See, some of them, so innocent then.
Yeah. It seems very innocent to us now.
Well, he specialised in very fat, buxom ladies, normally in red. That one you showed was in purple. And his children's paintings were also very, very good. They were rather like Mabel Lucy Atwell, who was a very famous children's painter. He was an awfully good artist. In fact, the tragedy is, you know, he sold 350 million postcards. He died a pauper, and he's in an unmarked grave in a South London cemetery. I'm actually paying for a headstone to be put up. It seems to me that the artist who sold more reproductions of his work than anyone in the history of the world, for sure, should at least have a headstone for where he's buried.
But these are, some of these you bought for £5 up to £20, and they're expecting to go for £2,500.
They are going like hot cakes. They've already sold 39, and the exhibition doesn't open until next Tuesday. Yeah, they're going for between $750 and $2,500, and they're cheap at the price because he only did one, McGill. Some artists did lots of the same thing. He only did one. They're a unique part of history, and they're very jolly. My friend Michael Caine from California picked two from the catalogue that he wanted to buy, and they were both sold already. It was humiliating. I said, Michael, I'm awfully sorry, you know.
What is it that separates the price and the worth? Because you say you've got some sort of 700, maybe £1,000.
Well, Chris is an expert because he deals in illustrations. I looked at the pricing and I thought, well, I thought that one should be more and that should, you know, but it doesn't matter. He's an expert. He chooses the pricing.
So is it the quality of the artwork?
Well, it's often how much is going on. For example, a single figure is seldom as much as 3 or 4 figures interacting with each other. The humour of the caption. It's his decision. In art in general, but always, the busier the better.
Yes.
Will you be sad to see them go?
I'll be sad to see them go because now I know that I can't go down to my basement of an evening, take them out, put a few out and look at them. It's just an empty drawer now. I don't know what to put in the drawer. I'll have to buy something else.
Start collecting.
What are you going to buy next then? What's the next thing?
I'll buy. No, I've got so many pictures. I've got 700 pictures up. You know enough.
God, you wouldn't want to dust those frames, would you?
You wouldn't.
Michael, thank you very much indeed, and good luck with the gallery.
Yeah, I need the money, please.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, he's hard up.
Now, we've got to take a commercial, dear, if you don't mind. Is that all right?
Calm down, dear. It's only a commercial.
Indeed. Yes, we have got to take a break, but when we come back, Emmerdale's Nicola Blackstock, actress Nicola Wheeler, reveals all about the extraordinary storyline that sees her leaving the Dales forever. And proving it could be really as cheap as chips, Andrea Maslin has the interior must-haves. Yes, you can have this for as little as this.
Cream-coloured ponies and
Plus, would you know what to do if you saw someone collapse or having an asthma attack? Dr. Chris shows us the techniques that could save lives.
And right after this, the 27-year-old victim of sexual abuse, who after 20 years of silence has finally seen her grandfather jailed.
And of course, don't forget that you could be, hopefully, starting the weekend with £10,000. We'll see you after the news.
How's Mama get so many vegetables in her chunky sauces?
Nothing is softer for sensitive skin than new Fairy Fabric Softener for a huggably soft wash.
Look who's catching new, inspiring fragrances for spring. Soft linen, aromatic wood and natural stone, deliciously captured by Ambipure.
SL. Special sofas in a special sale from the Sofa Specialists.
Have you been injured, had an accident at work, or on the road, or in a public place? Unsure if you have a claim for compensation? Concerned about hidden charges? Now, there is no need to worry. The Personal Injury Helpline will handle your claim with no charges and nothing taken from the money you're awarded. So, for a risk-free quality service, call us free now on 0800 085 1715. If you don't make the call, you'll never know.
Thinking of buying property in Spain? Then come to the Ideal Spanish Homes exhibition at the City of Manchester Stadium, Ashton New Road, Manchester, this Saturday 10 until 6 and Sunday 10 until 5. Live the life you deserve.
Average current accounts come with average rates. This is no average current account. And Yorkshire Bank is no average bank. So switching to Current Account Plus couldn't be easier. Talk to us. Just call 0800 20 21 22.
Always Ultra's new, longer, double-curved wings give you up to 53% more side coverage. So during your period, try wearing your good pants. Always.
So happy, today's the day, and things will turn around. So keep your head up. Things are alright. So keep your head up.
Moto Sliver.
Things are alright.
Hello, Moto.
What is that? It's a bubble. The bubbles are melting.
Delicious aero bubbles melt into pure chocolate pleasure. Have you felt the bubbles melt?
With the approval of the British Allergy Foundation, nothing is softer for sensitive skin than new Fairy Fabric Softener.
A 12-year-old girl who's battling a drink problem, that's on tonight at 8 o'clock. But now it's an ITV News Summary.
Good morning. 3 children and a man have died following an explosion and fire at a house. They died in Cheddleton near Leek in Staffordshire. The blaze was so fierce, nearby houses had to be evacuated. A man in his 30s has been arrested in connection with the incident. More on that at 12:30. The man at the centre of one of the biggest sex scandals in British politics has died. John Profumo was forced to resign for lying in the Commons about his affair with the prostitute Christine Keeler. One of her clients was a Russian diplomat, which at the height of the Cold War led to accusations British security had been put at risk. John Profumo was 91. A local council has been defending its decision for fining a man who put his rubbish in a street litter bin. Andy Tierney was fined £50 for dropping some junk mail in the bin. The council tracked him down and fined him. He says the rule's silly. Now, for today's Pulse, we're asking for other so-called rules inflicted on us by the bureaucrats. We want to hear about them. Balmy things that annoy you. Recently, an old-age pensioner was banned from a pub for wearing a hat, for example. Do get in touch. Text the word Pulse, followed by your comment to 80088, or send an email to pulse@itv.com. To share your stories live, do give us a call on 0870 242 1815. Leave your name, number and a short message. We'll get back to as many of you as we can. So join me for the lunchtime news at 12:30.
Good morning and welcome to the news from ITV Granada. Police investigating the armed raid on a Securitas cash van in Warrington on Wednesday night are trying to trace the movements of the vehicles involved. A white flatbed Volvo V60 lorry was used to block the van before it was rammed by a red Massey Ferguson tractor. A Volvo and a dark-coloured Audi estate were used to get away from the scene. Police say the robbers made off with more than £500,000. Police have carried out raids in Merseyside as part of a national operation to tackle human trafficking. Officers from Merseyside, Greater Manchester and North Wales worked together in the joint operation. Women of various nationalities, including Thai, Chinese and Czech, were taken in and a number of arrests were made. It's believed that the women are being treated as victims. More than 600 people attended the first Anthony Walker Young Citizen of the Year award ceremony in Liverpool last night. It was organised by G. Walker in memory of her son, who was murdered in a racist attack in Huyton last year. 17-year-old Lauren Irwin was the star of the night, recognised for her anti-bullying work. Tessa Chapman reports.
It had everything you'd expect from an awards ceremony: black tie, Bucks fizz, celebrities, all in the name of Anthony Walker, whose mother is determined his murder won't be in vain.
It's a start to something good, and it's about time too. It's about time goodness got recognised and appreciated.
I think it's good that people are recognised, young people are recognised for giving back to communities and to friends, families, organisations, everything. I think it's really important that they are recognised.
And it was Lauren Irwin who was the star of the night, named the first ever Citizen of the Year. So moved by her friends' experiences at the hands of bullies, she wrote and recorded a song about it.
I wanted to be able to help her, and I thought the best way was through music. So I wrote a song and then I recorded it and that, and it's carried on from there. You know, it helped her, and then I've been all around the country, you know, singing the song and doing questions and answers in schools all over the country.
Anthony did, well, in a way, get bullied, so it's fitting for her to be nominated. So I do empathise with her, and I do appreciate what she's doing, and I just hope she go on.
An emotional night for all, but a symbol of the positive legacy G. Walker wants her son's brutal death to leave.
The remains of an innocent man wrongly executed for a murder he didn't commit have been exhumed today, 56 years after his death. George Kelly was hanged in 1950 after an armed robbery at the Cameo Cinema in Wavertree. He was found guilty of shooting dead its manager and his assistant. But his conviction was quashed in 2003. His body's been exhumed from Walton Prison and will be reburied at a later date. Some of football's greatest names were in Preston last night in support of England legend Sir Tom Finney. The former Preston North End star is raising awareness of Alzheimer's disease, as Mike Hall reports.
It was a who's who of footballing legends as the greats of the game descended on Preston's National Football Museum. They were here in support of Sir Tom Finney, who hosted a dinner in aid of Alzheimer's, the disease which claimed the life of his wife Elsie 16 months ago.
We're hoping to raise as much as possible for this event and bring to the notice really of the public generally who know little or anything about Alzheimer's disease.
And it was a night stars of the game, past and present, were not prepared to miss.
The whole of football loves Tom Finney, and that's it in a nutshell. And if it meant walking from Blackpool, I would have walked it.
It's hoped more than £20,000 was raised on the night, and there's more to come, with a sale of footballing memorabilia at the museum this Sunday.
Well, that's the news so far today, but join us for our next bulletin at 1:10, when we'll be talking about Wayne Rooney's new book. The world's most expensive teenage footballer has just signed the biggest sports book deal in publishing history. The Manchester United star has agreed a 12-year contract with HarperCollins to write at least 5 books. He'll net a guaranteed £5 million advance before royalties. It'll be an autobiography of his life so far, including this year's World Cup. And we want to know what you think about this one. Is this just a case of celebrity gone mad? Or maybe you think it's a good way of encouraging people to get into reading in the first place. As ever, you can email your views now to the usual address, granada.report@itv.com. That's granada.report@itv.com, and we'll read as many of them out as we can at 1:10. Hope you can join us for that. We'll have an exclusive interview with Shane Ward. See you later. Bye-bye.
Granada weather with bmibaby.com.
Hello and good morning. We stay in the fairly cloudy, mild and damp air across the region today. As we head into the weekend, the threat of colder air pushing in from the east, which could spark off some sleet and snow for our part of the UK really late tomorrow through into Saturday night. For the rest of today, generally cloudy skies, a little bit of brightness up towards parts of Lancashire and South Cumbria there. Elsewhere, fairly cloudy and some heavy outbursts expected North Wales, Liverpool Bay Area and parts of Cheshire. Highs at best today away from the hills 6 or 7 Celsius. As we move into this evening, again cloudy, outbreaks of patchy rain. And as we move further into tonight, the increased risk of some sleet and snow over the tops, with temperatures hovering around freezing and the winds turning northeasterly. For the best part of tomorrow, fairly cloudy, little bit of brightness and not a wintry flurry.
Granada weather with bmibaby.com, the airline with tiny fares.
When This Morning sent Alison Hammond backstage to meet X Factor's Journey South, she wasn't meant to get quite so involved.
No, I did the massage. Oh, yeah, right, you have to take off your clothes.
Not even wardrobe was out of bounds for Alison.
What time is it? Is it 2? No, it's Journey South time.
But thankfully the boys still stole the show. Only just though. Don't miss Journey South, only on This Morning. Welcome back. We are live until 12:30. Still to come today, she's the woman who gives a whole new meaning to the word forward.
Like hanky panky, nothing like a good spanky. Don't take out your handkerchiefs, I don't wanna cry, I just wanna hanky.
Yeah, she's had chef called Carlos, fishmonger called Simon, and if she'd had her way, a bisexual bin man called Ivan. She knows how to pick 'em, that's for sure. So watch out, everyone. Watch. Put Richie down.
He's a
you
married
leave him
man.
alone. Nicola Blackstock, that's actress Nicola Wheeler. She's here. And cue the music.
These are a few of my favourite things.
She is a little hesitant Julie. Bringing us a few of her favourite things is our very own Maria, and that's Andrea von Mafflin. She says that for as little as this, you could buy that.
Bargain.
It is a
Bargain, isn't it? Plus, following these pictures of Kate Moss, have a look at her ear there, and you can see there's something definitely going on there. Well, there's a little plaster or something in there, isn't there? Well, she's had acupuncture, apparently. Could it be the latest treatment to beat addiction? Well, we'll be speaking to Britain's leading expert on the procedure and putting it to the test, actually, with the help of one very brave volunteer.
From alternative healthcare to conventional medicine, do you know how to help someone if you saw this happening to them? An asthma attack like that could be fatal, but given the correct knowledge, you could save a person's life. Dr. Chris is here with advice on asthma and other life-saving procedures a little bit later.
But now, this week, actress Terry Hatcher spoke out about the abuse she suffered as a child at the hands of an uncle. Well, to this day, Terry says she still struggles to come to terms with that ordeal.
Someone who knows all too well about suffering abuse at the hands of a family member is Sophie Swain. Sophie lived in fear of being left alone with her granddad. But it was only when she became a mum herself that she found the courage to tell her family the reason why. Her grandfather had sexually abused her as a child. Now aged 27 and with her grandfather firmly behind bars, Sophie is urging other victims to come forward and say it's never too late to seek justice. And she joins us now along with Denise.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now this abuse started when you were so young that those first memories are very hazy.
Yeah.
At what age do you think he started abusing you?
About 4, really. It's
And
kind
when,
of pieced it back to then.
as you got older, your memories of what were happening to you became clearer.
Yeah.
And that's what's haunting you, that's what haunts you now.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Assortment of things ranging from his hand would be under the tablecloth, fiddling around in my lap, to he'd make us touch him, you know.
Did you sorry, when you were so young, saying this started, do you think about 4? It might even be earlier that you can't remember, but around 4. Do you think you realised then, you know, is Grandad doing something wrong, or
I
did you not just understand?
don't remember if I ever realised that. He used to call us his special girl, and as a child you'd do anything for somebody to call you that. So you
well,
know,
a relationship with grandparents is very special anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did he say to you, "Don't tell mummy what's happening"? Or
he
how
said
did
my mother would get hurt if I told anybody. He would hurt my mum, and even as a teenager, although I knew that wouldn't happen, it was still in my head, and it still frightened me enough not to do or say anything.
You were close to your nan. You liked
I loved
your
my
nan,
and
and so if you'd have said, "Listen, I don't want to go round anymore," then that would have thrown up suspicion. And as you say, you were always haunted by the fact that he'd said he was going to hurt your mum. There was one particular day when your nan went out shopping.
Yeah, her and my sister, she quite often did it, you know, go quick, let's go down the shop, you know, we were upstairs. And he had me pinned down, and she happened to come back, you know, right at the right time, I suppose. And I used that as my chance to get out, and I went with them down to the shop.
Did you? It must have been very hard then when Grandma and Grandpa are coming to the house, social visits.
Yeah.
So do you think did your parents pick up at all that you were uncomfortable around him?
I think they sensed that nobody was really, you know, I wasn't pleased when they came round. I don't think I ever, you know, gave them the impression that it was the best thing on, you know.
But he stopped. You said this went on between about ages 4 to 8. Did he then stop?
It got harder because they moved away. So they moved away to the coast. So it got harder for him. There was less times where it was possible.
But did he ever make reference to it when he did come round?
Quite. When I was older and we would stay down there, he'd say, "Oh, he'd pinch the girls' bottoms in the cafe down the road," or, you know, so and so giving him a cuddle and a kiss. You know, and to anybody else, it probably wouldn't mean anything, but it used to make me.
And you're getting
go
older.
Cold inside.
You're getting older at this point, so you know you're becoming a teenager, and then there's boyfriends.
Yeah.
How was it affecting you emotionally and your relationships with other people and friends?
I find it very hard to trust anybody, let anybody close. Even now, me and my husband, things are never going to be, you know, brilliant. But I find it very hard to trust anybody, let anybody close to me.
You told him, didn't you?
I did
Mark,
tell
your
him,
husband?
yeah, on our first date, which probably isn't a very appropriate time to do it, but I felt so comfortable. You know, it's the first time I've told anybody so easily.
And then you had your wedding day.
Yeah.
And he was there at the wedding.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
If I was honest, I think I was so swamped by everything else that was going on, it probably didn't really hit until like the pictures, and I was really didn't want him in the pictures, but how can you say, you know, I don't want him there because.
And obviously, the alarm bells would ring big time when your daughter was born. And
it was hell to go down there and visit. One of us had to be constantly behind her, and if I went to the loo, I'd made my husband promise that he wouldn't take her out of his sight, you know. That
Well, what did your husband Mark, you know, you told him about this? Because I can imagine most husbands will be very angry on your behalf, and then when they've got children of their own, saying, I don't want my kids anywhere near him. Did he not persuade you to try and tell your mum or
He said I had to do what was right for me, and it didn't matter if anybody tried to force me. It had to be a decision that I was ready to do when I was ready to do it.
And why don't
he
you
said
think
he'd be there for me, but you know,
that's nice
had to be
have
my decision.
Yeah, nice to have that support. Why do you think you weren't ready to tell then?
I don't know really. I don't know really. I felt like a little girl still. I think the threat was hitting the little girl, not the grown adult. The threat was there in the little girl's head, you know, and it just stayed there.
it was a chance remark during a DIY conversation
Yeah, we were
that
sitting in
finally
the garden.
pushed you over the edge, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were sitting in the garden, and he made some reference to Sophie being good at screwing kitchen cupboards.
And just left a gap.
Yeah.
She's very good at a bit of a gap,
yeah.
and then he said it,
Yeah.
which was enough for you to think, he's still thinking about it even now.
And it was like a smug grin on his face, like, you know, well, I've got away with this, you know, so long, who's gonna, you know.
So then you've got to make that decision. Okay, I've kept this to myself, I've lived with this all this time,
Yeah.
now that's it, I've had enough, I'm going to tell.
That and the fact I was doing a child protection course
Yeah.
You know, for my job. So
You're training to be a childminder.
Yeah, I'm a childminder. Yeah, and I was doing a protection course, and it was hard because you couldn't actually say any personal experiences. You had to be like straight. You know, you couldn't say personal experiences, but you had to sit there and take in all this information. And it was only a short course, but it was pure torture.
So when you told your mum, first of all, obviously you are worried what reaction you're going to get there. This is a bombshell in the centre of the family going off. What did your mum say?
She thought it was words, and she said, you know, you can't let words affect your life. I said it wasn't just words, and it's the first time I felt brave enough to actually go. Usually if I'd have said something, she would have said it was just words and that's it, clam up, no more. I felt brave enough then, and it was the right time to take it just that a bit further and say he touched me.
Is this her dad?
No, it's my dad's dad.
Okay, because that's very hard, isn't it, to
he's
be told?
He's been very, very good.
Were you worried, because there had been this huge gap between when it happened and when you told, that people wouldn't believe you, particularly your mum and dad?
Yeah, I was worried. I mean, who would believe two little girls, let alone two little girls, you know, grown up later on, you know, so.
You found yourself on July the 25th last year giving evidence in court.
Yeah.
And you were behind a screen.
Yes, I couldn't
see him.
There was a bit of a problem as to whether they would let me have the screen because of my age, but there's no way on earth I could have looked at him. Just the way he sits there in his hands, I would have clammed up totally. I wouldn't have had to do
But a
anything.
difficult experience anyway, with a screen or not.
Yeah.
With your family there.
And they're basically accusing me of being a liar and making it all up.
And your grandfather, Ronald Wood, who's now 75, I think, was sentenced to 30 months in jail.
Yeah.
How did you feel when he was sent to prison?
Pleased that justice had been done. I suppose some people would be a bit worried that it wasn't a very long sentence, but for his age, you know, it's not going to be a picnic. So, but no, pleased that eventually, it's taken me this long, but eventually something had been done, and I'd done, you know, the right thing.
Why did you decide? It's a big step to admit to your family and to say this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this a number of times, Denise, haven't we? Saying, you know, you end up, I don't know whether you ended up blaming yourself at some stage, thinking maybe it was me, because we've had those conversations before, haven't we? Did that ever happen?
Yeah.
Blamed yourself.
Perhaps I asked for it. Perhaps I was wearing something that you know.
Yeah. And then to go public on this is a big step. Why would you do that?
The police, my mum helped me into that decision. She kind of made me realise that it was the right decision, so that's where that happened. But actually, coming on the television, I swore blind I wasn't going to. I've done like magazine and that, but I swore blind I wouldn't do television. But it was actually a long time ago, before I actually came out and said anything. There was a helpline to ring that I watched on this morning. And so many times I'd put the number in and I sat there and I thought, I will do this, you know. It's just, you read in a magazine about somebody that's been through it and you think, oh, I really want to do that. But no, you know,
will you have now?
Don't go there, you know.
It's a very, very brave step, and so well done you. Thank you.
Denise, we're going to talk much more later on. I mean, you're sort of here for moral support just in this little bit, but later on obviously we want to hear from you in a moment. But this is something that you shouldn't allow to sit in your soul and eat you up.
How can a child of 4 be to blame for anything? The trouble is that as it goes on, then you begin to think, I've been living this lie for what, 6, 7, 8 years. I am a guilty party. And therefore I can't tell them it's been going on because I've been doing wrong things. No, you haven't. You're a victim. Anybody who is abused is a victim.
Children are so trusting though, Denise, aren't they? I can totally understand, you know, if your granddad says to you, know, don't you tell Mum, this is our special little secret and you're my special...
Exactly,
you
and
know,
quite
children
often
are
there
so
are threats.
torn.
I mean, I've had letters where people have said, I'll kill your kitten.
Yeah.
Now, you know, to a 4-year-old, your kitten, I'll kill your kitten if you say anything. And in some ways, Sophie is a classic case In other ways, she's not, because quite often a family will turn against the person who says. She's been very lucky in that respect, that the family has closed around her. Yes. But nobody needs to carry a secret like that, eating away at them. Nobody needs to do that.
Well, hopefully Sophie's story and coming on to tell us will help other people.
That was the part of the thing about the magazine. I didn't want to be a dirty, secret any longer. I had to do something to...
Absolutely. Well, now you're free to get on with life with your husband and your daughter now. Yeah. Lovely. Okay. Thank you for coming in today. And I know that wasn't easy, and you've done a remarkable job, and I think a very useful job as well.
Just hope that it inspires somebody else to make that call.
Even if it's just one person.
Thank you,
all worth it.
Fantastic, thank you.
If Sophie's story has struck a chord with you, perhaps you've been suffering in silence because you don't know who to turn to or you're worried about the consequences, Denise is here all morning. If you need advice on speaking out or you're worried about a family member or friend, then give us a call, 0870 333 0550. All calls, as we always say, and it's very true, will be treated in the strictest confidence. You don't even need to give your real name if you don't want to.
Yeah. And we'll be back right after this.
It's that donkey dormilde!
Mama, she's so clever, eh? Tesco Car Insurance. Get a quote and switch to us between now and April the 30th, and club card holders get a £20 gift card. All right, it might not buy you a Lamborghini, but it'll buy you a load of linguine.
Tesco Car Insurance. Every little helps.
You won't believe what you can buy at Carcraft for just £199 deposit and £199 a month. This Mercedes C-Class, Toyota Celica, Jaguar X-Type, Toyota RAV4, and this Lexus IS 200, plus hundreds of other cars at Carcraft. That's just £199 deposit and £199 a month. So bring the warmth of summer inside at Carcraft and view hundreds of makes and models in our indoor heated motor show. Carcraft, we make it nice and easy.
Thinking of buying property in Spain? Then come to the Ideal Spanish Homes exhibition at the City of Manchester Stadium, Ashton New Road, Manchester, this Saturday 10 until 6 and Sunday 10 until 5. Live the life you deserve.
Add a touch of catwalk glamour to your wardrobe. In sizes 14 to 32, the irresistible new range from simplybee.co.uk has the season's hottest fashion lingerie, footwear and accessories. And now an exclusive new collection by Anna Schultz, so you can radiate style all day, every day. With such fabulous designs, you'll be simply spoilt for choice. For a fantastic 10% off your first order exclusively for new customers, call free for your catalogue now on 0800 677 776 or visit simplybee.co.uk.
Average current accounts come with average rates. This is no average current account. And Yorkshire Bank is no average bank. So switching to Current Account Plus couldn't be easier. Talk to us. Just call 0800 20 21 22.
Appassionata Ovations Tour. It's a beautiful, exciting and truly breathtaking equestrian extravaganza. Extra shows, buy now.
This lady is just one of the many who have grown ever more curious about what goes on in the Nutrigrain factory. She believes that only magical powers can bake something so soft and yummy from wheat, oats and fruit.
Tell them about the pixies now.
They come out the factory gates at night with the tall hats with the bells on, doing the kung fu with the balls. You've seen them, Eric, haven't you? Come on, say Pixie.
With wheat, oats and fruit magically transformed into soft, yummy loveliness. Nutrigrain, made soft and yummy by magic, apparently. And if Nutrigrain's delicious new taste doesn't satisfy your munchies, they'll give you your money back.
And it's Weeping Willow, Weeping Willow, that tree. It's the finest type of tree the world has ever seen.
Celebrate FIFA World Cup year with a friend. Buy a Big Mac meal tomorrow and get a free Big Mac.
3-1! 3-1!
I love you. World's best mum.
What are you after? Get out of this house. You don't know what I've done.
The ITV1 drama premiere, A Good Murder, Monday at 9.
Have you counted the chunks, Mama?
Everyone.
Hello, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your Friday morning. Still to come here, could acupuncture really be a cure for addiction? Well, we'll be speaking to one leading expert who says absolutely yes, it can.
And men of Emmerdale, you can breathe a huge sigh of relief. Nicola is leaving, and not a moment too soon. If your name's Ivan, Emmerdale's most outrageous sexpot Nicola Blackstock joins us live after midday. Oh, I feel so sorry for the real Nicola. What a way to be built up coming onto the programme. Not like that at all.
Harlot. She'll still be quiet.
It's making it worse.
She'll be buttoned up to the neck like a nun when she comes in now. Now then, this week saw Superdrug become the latest high street chain to add homeware products to their already extensive ranges. Now, they've shown that when it comes to interiors, you don't need to spend exorbitant prices in order to look stylish. So keeping a check on your wallet today is our very own little shopess, Andrea Mafflin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Superdrug are great prices, as we know, for cosmetics and
It's actually extraordinary. So obviously everybody wants to get in on it, don't they? And
so what they got?
What they've got, well, I started off with the hangers here. Really, these are beautiful. These like big beaded hangers, a little bit glamorous for us ladies.
Too nice to be hidden in the wardrobe.
Yeah, well, I think lovely in a cloakroom or even a hallway. You know, beautiful little beaded
Guest
cardie.
coats.
No, only £2.99 for those three.
For three?
For three of them. That's good value, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm going to move down to these. These are chopping boards. Now, I know it sounds a little bit boring, but they're so beautiful in colour. They're £1.99 each, and I thought it was quite a good way of actually not cross-contaminating your food, like if you've got raw chicken, fish, vegetables. Quite a fun way of updating it.
Or you could wash them, Karen.
But you could wash them, but it just saves you. Do you know, I quite like that. The teapot is £3.49. It's quite 50s looking. And these wonderful little, these are actually china, £1.99 as well. So you can
That's fantastic,
look
£1.99
really,
for those.
really stylish for those. And then just down here, a little bit of fun, a little cushion clock, if you please. £4.99 they start from. They are quite fun.
That was fun.
They're not your thing, are they?
No, but they're lovely for a children's bedroom. They're great fun, something like
Unbreakable.
that. Yeah.
Let's move on then. Let's move on to Matalan.
I bet they're not unbreakable, by the way.
Give them a go.
We'll try them later.
Now, crockery, a great way of updating if you've got some people coming over for Easter, Mother's Day, for example. These all start from £2.50, so it's £2.50 per item. And I like the way of actually blending all the colours together. It looks really great. Moving down to here, great chenille cushions. Now, also, the design is on both sides, which often, when you get budget prices, you do start to sort of lose on the quality. Great, and these look very similar to ones I've seen for about £50. These are in fact 10, and the ones at the bottom are £8. Now, those look like Missoni to me, and people that are into design will know Missoni is just like so high-end, that would be like nearly £150. So great looking. £8, and it's actually stitched, that detail.
They look silky, like silk.
They do. I think they're fantastic price. And then we've got these vases. They start from £8. Got some glass with some
£8?
Yes.
That's not bad, is it?
Lacquer, and this one here is 18, so they sort of go up in stages. But Matalan is a great place if you are on a budget. You can still get the look and not blow the budget.
Okay.
Let's move on here.
I'm just rubbing your lovely cushions as I go past.
Now, this whole little collection here, this is from Primark. Okay, now this is the best ever price I have found for a duvet set. This is £10. I know it's on a single bed, but it's actually a double duvet. £10 with 2 pillowcases. Now, if there's any colour... You found better, have you?
No, I've never found better.
I
can't
believe it.
What material is it?
It is a mixture, 50-50 cotton polyester.
Right,
So it's great. You hang it on your line, you don't need to iron it. So if you don't have time in your life getting the ironing board out, this is the one.
He's always ironing duvet covers, aren't you? Every afternoon.
I do love the thought of that. I do love it. Teal, this lovely bluey green, is the one colour that we are probably all going to be buying before the end of the season.
It is big, and I like it with that coffee colour and chocolate. It's
so
nice.
soothing for the bedroom.
Throw?
I've teamed it up with a throw. This one's £10, but they actually start from £5 for a double throw, which is incredible value. I've got great ones here, that satiny sort of feel to them.
lovely.
And the cushions start for £4. So you could have a little bit of a splurge with
That
cushions.
looks very expensive, actually.
It does,
you see
doesn't
those
it?
designs kind of Osborne and Little and
Very.
all those posh places, don't you?
Exactly. And there's a lot of work in these cushions. But I'd like us to take us on to Woolworths next.
Would you?
Let's
Where's
float
Woolworths?
into the world of
Here's
Woolworths.
Woolworths. Look, just walking down the high street a little further.
I love the wonder of Woolies.
I do.
Especially kitchen stuff. Their kitchenware's fantastic.
It is. It's really, really good value. And I want to start off with these plates. Again, mix and match. Have a bit of fun with your china. They start from £1.99. And then the cutlery set, this is in fact £7.99 for a 12-piece set. Again...
Is this tealy blue again, isn't it?
Tealy blue, it's going to come. I bet even if you don't like it, you'll be buying it. I trust me on this one. The vases, they start from £7. Now, this dark wood is everywhere. Every single shop, I can guarantee you're going to find it, from £7. And the towels...
That is wood, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It actually is wood. Obviously, I wouldn't probably put water in there. You will spoil it.
You don't
split
really.
it.
You tend not to use these as vases, though,
Yes.
do you? They're more decoration, really.
That's
or a
right.
dried flower or something.
Something like some bits of grass or something like that, you know, or even these fake flowers are
grass.
fantastic.
Hold on. Hold the line, please, caller. Look, we've got. Oh no, that's stuck in.
Oh no!
Oh, here you
Are
go.
they all stuck in?
Look.
Perfect.
There you are.
Look at that.
That's what you want to be doing, isn't it?
3 of those.
Perfect.
Always buy 3s if you can. It's very.
I'm lost in here. I am wasted. I should be an interior designer.
I might pull you in from time when I get a bit busy.
My dad
Get
once
filling.
threw away a whole huge display I had of dried roses that had cost me a fortune. He said, "I've just thrown those dead flowers away for you." Bless him.
So let's just quickly do the towels
The towels, great value. Got 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 face flannels, £14.99. Excellent value. And I've got the little bin down the bottom there.
Yeah.
That's £7.49, and the bath mat £4.99. I really love this bath mat. I've seen
I
ones
love
that are
this
about
colour. I think this
4
is
times
great.
the price for that. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
I've really enjoyed myself.
Shocked off your feet.
Well, it's been lovely having you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
See you later.
Keep a few of those coat hangers for me, would you?
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
You can find all the details of everything Andrea's talked about on our website. It's www.itv.com/thismorning. Now then, if you would like some interior advice from Andrea herself, drop her a line with a photo or a video of the offending area in your home that you would like to change, repair, redecorate or restyle. Send your pictures or your video to Your Interiors. Remember, this is just about your house. 17 Hatfields, London, SE1 8DJ. We'll look forward to getting your videos.
Oh yes, we will. The mind boggles.
If you need money to redecorate, £10,000 is up for grabs today. It could all be yours.
Oh, anyway.
Interior. By the end of today, you could be £10,000 richer. Just imagine what you could buy.
Oh, yes.
Well, to be in with the chance of winning £10,000, all you have to do is to answer this question.
Now, if someone is mean with their money, they're often said to be A, tight-footed, B, tight-fisted, or C, tight-headed.
Call 09012 93 33 33. That's 09012 93 33 33. Lines close at 12:15. You can enter by text. Text the word WIN along with your answer A, B or C to 83336. You can also enter online, and if you're a digital satellite viewer, you can enter by pressing your red button now, and the best of luck.
Yep. Now then, coming up after the break, what would you do if this happened to someone you knew or maybe didn't know, just found them like that on the street? Not looking well, is he? OK, well, Dr. Chris will be revealing how to deal with any kind of attack. I think that was an asthma attack. He'll be here in just a few minutes.
And on the subject of alternative medicine, could acupuncture really be a cure for addiction? We'll find out after this.
She's got more chunks than me.
Packed with whole grain, Shreddies is school fuel. It's starter fuel. It's focused fuel. It's rocket fuel. A good breakfast like whole grain Shreddies helps kids stay focused, engaged and enthusiastic. It's hands-up fuel. Shreddies, school fuel.
These are some of the symptoms of having worked in a noisy job.
Are you going deaf? That TV's on far too loud. Hello? Hello?
TV on too loud? Missing bits of conversation in a crowd? Ringing, buzzing or hissing when it's quiet?
What's that noise?
What noise?
Answered yes to any of these questions, you could be entitled to a cash award. For your free home hearing test, call HCRU on 0800 298 3333.
We have searched the world for the most beautiful sofas. Bright colours, vibrant styles, luxury and comfort, but nothing is more attractive than the limited introductory prices. All this just $399. Wow, £400 off. How is all this possible? At least £250 off every sofa and corner group in the fabulous new spring collection at DFS. Irresistible.
Life isn't always perfect.
But I've got the hair color part of it worked out.
Nice and Easy with new Colour Seal Gloss Conditioner helps seal in colour for up to 6 whole weeks, keeping it shiny and radiant longer. So even when life isn't going your way, your hair colour stays looking wonderful. Nice and Easy from Clairol Colour Wonderful.
It all started with the voice, the incredible voice of Russell Watson. Now, hear him sing all his greatest hits on one CD for the first time ever. Russell Watson, The Ultimate Collection, out Monday.
Relive the magic of David Essex. Oh no. All of your favorite songs from the ultimate heartthrob. Includes Oh What a Circus, Hold Me Close, and Silver Dream Machine. David Essex, the greatest hits, out now.
In our most drastic time, a brand new series of The Royal, Sunday at 8 on ITV1.
Oh, look at the cat.
Welcome back. Still to come. No girl likes rejection, especially if the name's Nicola Blackstock. Well, if you will try it on with your brother's boyfriend, actress Nicola Wheeler reveals all about that storyline and leaving the Dales forever.
Now, did you see this photograph in yesterday's paper of Kate Moss with some rather strange-looking things in her ears? Well, they're plasters, apparently.
And they are the result of a special acupuncture treatment that is used as an alternative method to treat addictions to drink, drugs, cigarettes, as well as stress. So joining us now is leading acupuncturist Sue Cox, who pioneered this technique in this country, known as auricular acupuncture. And it started off, welcome, Sue, nice to see you. First identified in Hong Kong in the 1970s, and it continued in America, and then ended up over here in about sort of 1995.
That's right.
So what is in her ear?
They're called vicarious seeds. They're really used as a sort of a bridge between treatments. They're not an alternative to needles, but, you know, they're an added sort of belt and braces, really.
So what do they...
Did you say seeds? They're called seeds, but sometimes we can use little ball bearings or magnets. It largely depends upon the practitioner's preference. I use seeds because people sometimes have nickel allergies, so I just like to use natural things, really. But they're just like belt and braces, help with anxiety and stress and insomnia and things like that. Very, very valuable.
So that seed is where she would have had a needle in her ear?
She wouldn't have just have had those two. She would have had 5 altogether, presumably.
So what are those seeds you're saying doing in between the treatments?
In between, they kind of continue with the treatments. So, for example, if people, not Kate, obviously, I don't know Kate, so I don't know her circumstances, but like my patients, for example, they may not be able to access services over the weekend, and they might feel stressed, they might just need a little bit of help with triggers that might cause relapse. So it's just to help with that sort of thing. They're not as powerful as needles, but they're certainly, you know, very useful adjunct to treatment.
So auricular acupuncture can treat all sorts of addictions, if I understand this correctly.
It is an adjunctive treatment, so it works in conjunction with other things. So it's not a standalone treatment. So it's we use it with. I mean, we work in prisons and health services and community drug and alcohol teams, and it's part of a package, but it's a very valuable part of that package. It's part of drug strategy in all of our major prisons and a lot of health services as well. But it's not a standalone treatment. It's very valuable. One leg of a three-legged stool
What's
of
it
recovery.
actually doing then?
What it's actually doing simply is, you know, there are nerves that innervate that part of the ear, and they stimulate a part of the brain, the mesolimbic system, which is like the pleasure circuit of the brain. You know, balances up things like neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, that sort of thing. So
it's interesting that she had those in her ear, but her hair pulled back.
Yes.
So I mean, it is possible to cover that up. It's almost like a badge of honour, perhaps. I'm having whatever the treatment happened to before, I am having treatment. This is what it is, because purely by having her hair behind her ear, we're doing this now. If she'd had her hair down, we wouldn't have ever seen it.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about this and thinking about the knock-on effect just from that one photograph and all the people that may get help just because it's identifying an area of treatment which is really very successful. So, yes, it's valuable.
It can help to reduce cravings. It can help alleviate withdrawal symptoms, reduce stress, lessen hostility, lessen denial.
That's right, yes. Absolutely. And we did the first British research into this with maximum security prisons and Cambridge University and ourselves last year. There are two of us, I should say. I'm not the only person.
Sure.
My colleague Kim Wader is the brains of the business. He's the neurophysicist and the one with all of the scientific knowledge. But he had to hold the fort and teach today. But
there are two of you with us this morning, actually, because you brought Jeremy along.
I did.
Well, I don't know.
Let's wander over here and just show us whereabouts you would put it. And you mentioned that although we only saw the couple of plasters, a couple of areas, that Kate would have had 4 or 5 needles in her ear.
Yes. That would be the normal protocol for this kind of treatment.
Yeah.
You know, there are 200 points in the ear, 70 of which are in common use.
Yeah.
5 of which we use as a formula treatment to help with substance misuse.
So where would you...
I'm just going to...
Jeremy's looking a little nervous. You're actually a friend of Sue's. There's nothing wrong with you at all.
There isn't,
dragged in by her
just had very pretty ears, and we thought, pretty ears.
Does it hurt, Sue?
There's a tiny pinch, slight discomfort, far outweighed by the benefit.
And it's the same as acupuncture needles that you would have throughout the rest of your body?
Yes, often when we're using body acupuncture, we use longer needles because we're perhaps going into larger areas, but these are perfect for this job.
So whereabouts would they go?
OK. You OK, sweetie? OK.
Feel free to yelp.
Take a breath.
Can you feel that?
Hand out.
Oh, you took a big, deep breath there. Did that hurt?
Not at all.
Not at all,
no,
OK.
No.
I've had acupuncture. It's normally, just like you said, that little tiny
just an area of
it's
discomfort.
really not that bad.
Take a breath, honey. And out. Well done. OK.
How many points are there in an ear?
5 in each. Well, no, there are 200 in the ear.
200 in the ear, but this
absolutely.
is the specific
this
one
is a specific
for stress
formula.
and cravings
yes,
and withdrawal.
Absolutely, yes.
And how long would something like the effects of this last, Sue?
It's a bit like, the analogy I like to use is it's like putting fuel in. It's a bit like plugging your mobile phone into a battery charger.
Yes.
It largely depends on what you're doing as well.
How many times do you have to have it?
Once again, that depends upon the severity of the situation, the damage to the person, the imbalances there. But normally, for example, if somebody went in our hospital in Warwick, for example, they're going for a 10-day detox. They're offered this daily for those 10 days. Thereafter, other things have kicked in and this has done its work, really.
Good, and that didn't hurt?
Not at all, no.
Good, all right. So he's a mate, he's bound to say
Yes,
that.
well,
But I've had acupuncture and it doesn't hurt,
No.
so... Thank you very much
Great
indeed.
pleasure.
Terrific.
Great
Nice to see you. And details, if you are interested in this, anything that you've seen this morning, all the details, of course, on our website. If we can help.
Yeah. Now, still coming up, life-saving advice from Dr. Chris that could see you saving someone's life.
And she was desperate to get dirty with the Emmerdale bin man, but he was more interested in her brother. The ups and downs of being an Emmerdale sex bot, courtesy of Nicola Wheeler. There she is. Look, leave him! Leave him alone! She's insatiable. That's outrageous behaviour. He's been fishing, by the way. Back after this.
That jar of chunky moved.
Looks like a quality mince you've got there, Beefy.
No, no, Lemmy, it's just this box is a bit tight.
Oh, bit of a misunderstanding there, but that quality standard beef label certainly brings clarification to the proceedings. Gracious me.
Grab the day. Muller Vitality now with the added benefit of omega-3. And this week at Asda, buy 1 6-pack of Vitality drink and get 1 free.
This is Simon Webb and his platinum-selling album, Sanctuary. Featuring No Worries, Lay Your Hands, and the new single, After All This Time.
Cause she's loving him still, after all this time.
Simon Webb, Sanctuary, out now.
For ladies who enjoy their cars, Sheila's wheels are superstars. Girls are bored beyond endurance, paying too much for car insurance. For bonds of car insurance deals, girls get under Sheila's wheels. Women make the safest drivers, we could save a bunch of fibers. For bonds of car insurance deals, girls get under Sheila's wheels.
The anti-aging innovation from L'Oreal.
Glycolic acid is the active anti-aging ingredient chosen by professionals for facial peels.
Inspired by a dermatological technique, L'Oreal Paris brings you an innovation. Renoviste, our first at-home anti-aging glycolic peel kit.
And what does it do for my skin? Skin looks renovated, younger, feels firmer, and wrinkles appear reduced. You'll see the difference immediately.
3 steps 3 times a week. New L'Oreal Renoviste anti-aging glycolic peel kit.
Clients come to me all the time wanting to know how to get more from their style, and I let them in on a secret, Tresemme. Did you know it started in salons, so professional quality inside? That's why new Tresemme Freeze Hold Hairspray dries quickly to create volume with a lasting hold. And Tresemme is affordable, so my clients can have salon beautiful hair at home. New Tresemme Freeze Hold. Tresemme. Professional, affordable.
Getting enough fruit and vegetables every day can seem like hard work. Every tiny V-shot is squeezed full of fruit and vegetables to help you on your way to 5 a day. So be careful how you open it. New V-Shots helps you on your way to 5 a day.
One-day double sale this Saturday at United Carpets and Beds. It's simple. Take 50% off plus a further 25% off. Choose this bedroom carpet, stain-resistant twist pile, or this modern natural. 50% off, then a further 25% off, now only $2.99. This wood laminate, take 50% off, then a further 25% off. There's even 50% off this super king-size bed. And on Saturday, take a further 25% off, only $3.84. That's the one-day double sale this Saturday at United Carpets and Beds. Be there.
Okay, people, listen up.
It's gonna be monster!
Oops, sorry.
Looking good.
The new CITV channel launches tomorrow at 9:25. It's massive!
Huh? Oh. Welcome back. Still to come, Emmerdale. Advice from... No, I'm sorry, that's not right. It's
but that is coming later. Emmerdale is coming.
Emmerdale is coming.
Yeah.
Got 2 things confused there. We've got Dr. Chris. Actually, there are a few emergencies in Emmerdale.
There's a lot of emergencies with Nicholas around.
Dr. Chris, would you know what to do if you saw someone having an asthma attack, heart attack, fit of some sort? Dr. Chris gives basic advice that could save someone's life. But before all of that, it's time when we hope that we're going to make you £10,000 richer.
Yes, by the end of today, you could be £10,000 richer, but knowing what to do with it, all problem, isn't it? How would you spend 10 grand? What would you do with it, props boys?
Beer. Women.
He's on by the seaside. He's talking about women. It's the women he's talking about is women. That's it. Breaststroke.
The only women he gets. It's the only women action he gets.
To be in with a chance of winning 10 grand, all you have to do is to answer this question.
Now, if someone is mean with their money, they're often said to be A, tight-footed, B, tight-fisted, or C, tight-headed.
Just call 09012 93 33 33. That's 09012 93 33 33. Lines close at 12:15. You can also enter by text. Text the word WIN along with your answer A, B or C to 83336. You can also enter online. And if you're a digital satellite viewer, you can enter by pressing your red button right now. The best of luck.
Yeah. Now then, imagine this. You're busy going about your everyday business and something like this happens.
Apparently, over half of us wouldn't have a clue what to do if we saw someone having an asthma attack.
I wouldn't.
But if we couldn't handle that situation, how on earth would we react if someone was having a fit, or even worse, a heart attack? Chris is here now, our doctor, along with paramedic Laurie Phillipson, with some life-saving techniques. It's happened before on this programme. You see, you learn something on here, and suddenly, in the afternoon, you find out you're saving someone's life.
Yeah,
It has happened before.
That's right.
So let's start, first of all, welcome, by the way. Nice to see you,
Hi,
Laurie. Let's start with that asthma attack. What would you do if you saw someone in those circumstances?
Yeah, well, I mean, you saw the patient, you know, they were wheezing, difficult to breathe, they're exhausted through the attempts to breathe, they're very frightened. Now, what you need to do, of course, is to keep calm, reassure the patient, try and loosen the clothing or open the window if they're indoors, and actually listen to the patient. They've probably had several attacks before. See if they're carrying a card, what to do in an asthma attack card. Now, these are just coming out as a new campaign this week, which actually, if they're carrying that, it tells a layperson actually what to do.
That's a very good idea.
It is. It's an excellent idea. Now, the thing is, what you do is you don't lie them down, because lying down you can't breathe in because your abdominal contents are pushed up against the diaphragm. Far better to sit at a table leaning forward, because that helps the breathing. And don't hug them, all right? They need, you know, room to breathe. But then you need to get their blue inhaler. Now, most asthmatics will be carrying a blue inhaler. This is to relieve an attack, okay? And basically, you know, if the patient can't speak, if they're too short of breath to speak, or the lips are going blue, 999 straight away. If they're able to talk with difficulty, ask them where the inhaler is. The odds are they've got it out already. But the way to use the inhaler, 2 puffs straight away, and then repeat it 1 puff every minute for 5 minutes.
And you can't have, in these sort of emergency situations, Laurie, you can't have too much of your inhaler.
You'd struggle to take too much of an inhaler, yeah.
Right, so that's okay to continue to do it?
Yeah, we'd give a much concentrated dose when we arrive.
Most people would be a bit nervous because that's like giving medication that you don't know anything about.
Yeah, but those tubes are in spasm. You've got to get them relaxed, get the airways open. So 2 puffs and 1 puff every minute for 5 minutes. Yeah. If no improvement, 999.
OK, thank you. Yeah. Fitting. Now, we've talked about fitting before. Nothing more terrifying than either seeing a member of your family or your child who's having a serious fit.
Yeah. Now, looking at adults having an epilepsy attack, it's actually frightening to see. They start off actually with the arms going rigid and the back arches, the eyes roll up, and then they go from that rigidity into this jerky movements of all the limbs, maybe drooling at the mouth, maybe they wet themselves, lose control of the bowel, and basically in that situation you want to get the bystanders out of the way, loosen the clothing, you know, and
don't try and bring them around.
Don't restrain them, you know, let them go ahead and actually have the attack. Do not restrain. Also protect the patient. Maybe use a coat or a jacket, you know, to protect the head because they're jerking. Okay.
Is it quite common, Laurie, this kind of fitting and convulsions? So do you get calls out?
Yeah, sure. A lot of our calls are after seizures. Yeah, people having fits. People with epilepsy regularly fitting.
And a lot of the time it would be the damage that was caused because they were thrashing around.
Yeah, they can injure themselves. Of course, they can bite the tongue, bite their lips.
Don't try. What about trying to stop someone biting
the tongue?
Don't
put anything in the mouth.
Nothing at all.
That's
all. You want to lose your fingers.
Yeah.
How long, Laurie, would it be before? Because people will come round, will they? So is it a case of just make sure they're safe, they're not banging their head on something, and then wait for them to come?
Sure. Well, if you witness somebody fitting, you should call the ambulance service anyway. Dial 999. But yeah, most of the time people will come out of the fit before the ambulance arrives.
Just very quickly, Chris, I want to talk about your 5 C's. We've got to be quick. But
yeah, this is for children who get febrile convulsions caused by a high temperature. If your child has had one, this is what to do in the future. You've got to keep the temperature down. So I've got a list of 5 C's. So basically, it's cool room. Are we coming up? right? Cool room, cool bedding, so it's a couple of sheets, not a duvet, cool drinks, cool sponging, and finally Calpol. So that's if your child has got a high fever, don't close the windows, put the duvet on, follow that sort of routine, okay?
A heart attack, the resuscitation procedure of a heart attack. Let's bring in, we've got Gary Webber. Now, obviously, let's have a quick look at, obviously you know what it's going to look like, but this is what you would expect to see. There you go. Yeah. Gary's thankfully just acting at the moment, clutching his chest there. Right, so we've seen that. What do we do, guys?
Well, he's experiencing tight chest pain, crushing weight in his chest, maybe going into his neck, down his left arm. Yeah. If he's conscious, he may have what's called trinitrate tablets or a spray to use. Yeah. If you have an aspirin or he has an aspirin, chew an aspirin straight away to help thin the blood. Yes. If the patient collapses on the floor, then you have to do something. Right.
Sure.
Laurie.
Okay, so Gary's collapsed now. I'd want to check for dangers first before I approach the patient. Then I'd want to check his response. So, hello, can you hear me? Gary, can you hear me? No response. I then want to check his airway. Quick look in his mouth, clear anything out of there. Tilt his head back, head tilt, chin lift. To clear his airway, make sure the tongue's away from the back of the throat. Listen for breathing. I'd watch the rise to see if I can see a rise and fall of his chest, and listen for breath on my ear. If there's no breathing present, or he's only taking occasional gasps, I'll then commence CPR. So that will start with 30 compressions to the chest. So look at his chest, go for the centre of his chest, place the heel of one hand on his chest, interlock my fingers, lock my elbows straight, and I'd rock backwards and forwards to try and compress his chest about 4 to 5 centimetres. About 2 a second, just under 2 a second. Yeah. And then I'd want to ventilate him, so I'd squeeze his nose and I'd blow into his mouth twice. Yeah. And after I've done that, I'd go back to the compressions.
And details of everything that we've talked about once again today. The important things to remember, you know, the ratio of compressions to breath. We'll put that on the website as well.
Change.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
You can get up now. Yeah. What a remarkable recovery. Thank goodness for that. Chris, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
OK, and we're going to take a quick break for the news now, but we'll be back with lots more, so don't you go away.
See you in a minute.
They never knew vegetables could taste this good.
This is an asthma attack card. It contains basic information about what to do in an asthma attack. Get your free asthma attack card. Call Asthma UK on 08703 666633 now. If your child has asthma, this card could save their life. Call Asthma UK on 08703 666633 now.
There's no sugar!
Mentos, now in sugar-free.
One-day double sale this Saturday at United Carpets and Beds. It's simple. Take 50% off plus a further 25% off. Choose this bedroom carpet, stain-resistant twist pile, or this modern natural. 50% off, then a further 25% off. Now only $2.99. This wood laminate, take 50% off, then a further 25% off. There's even 50% off this super king-size bed. And on Saturday, take a further 25% off, only $3.84. That's the one-day double sale this Saturday at United Carpets and Beds. Be there.
If your child has asthma, this card could save their life. Call Asthma UK on 08703 666633 now.
We're back with Philip and Ruth for the rest of this morning in just a moment. It's after a news summary here on ITV1 with Nicholas Owen.
Good morning. The headlines and what's coming up on the lunchtime news. 3 children and a man have died following an explosion and a fire at a house. They died in Cheddleton, near Leek in Staffordshire. The blaze was so fierce, nearby houses had to be evacuated. A man in his 30s has been arrested in connection with the incident. Will be live at the scene. The man at the centre of one of the biggest sex scandals in British politics has died at the age of 91. John Profumo was forced to resign for lying in the Commons about his affair with the prostitute Christine Keeler. One of her clients was a Russian diplomat, which at the height of the Cold War led to accusations that British security had been put at risk. We'll have the remarkable story of little Ellie Mae Chalice. She's walking again after she lost her arms and legs. She had them amputated after she caught meningitis. More on her miracle recovery at 12:30. A local council has been defending its decision for fining a man who put his rubbish in a street litter bin. Andy Tierney was fined £50 for dropping some junk mail in the bin. The council tracked him down and fined him. He says the rule is silly. Now then, for today's Pulse, we're asking you for other rules that you might think are balmy. For example, an old age pensioner was recently asked to take off her hat in a pub. Lots of other examples around. Do get in touch with us. Text the word Pulse followed by your comment to 80088. Or send us an email to pulse@itv.com. To share your stories live on our phone-in, call us on 0870 242 1815. Leave your name, your number, and a short message, and we'll get back to as many of you as we can. Also at 12:30, we'll be speaking live to the first recipient of the Anthony Walker Award. The community award was set up in memory of the black student who was bludgeoned to death with an ice axe in Liverpool. So do join Nina Hussain and me in just over half an hour's time. Goodbye for now.
Russell Watson and Bernie Nolan are with the Loose Women later on. That's at 1:30.
She said junkie, not unky.
Coming soon on This Morning, Dr. Chris, as you've never seen him before, rolling from coast to coast, looking for the truth behind
that's all right.
old
But if it's a
wives'
read
tales.
only and it's not a real name.
Thought by the herbalists that if you ate this, it would help in your love life.
Everybody must have been eating it.
Don't miss Wheels of Steel, coming soon on This Morning. Welcome back. Still to come, Nicola Wheeler on her dramatic exit from Emmerdale.
But earlier we met Sophie Swain, who told of the sexual abuse she suffered as a child at the hands of her grandfather. Well, her story has prompted hundreds of calls, as we thought they would, Denise, didn't we? You're looking a bit shell-shocked, actually. Has it been a bit...
It's difficult when call after call after call is distressing. Then it does take a bit out of you, but we can help them all. That's the important thing.
Well, let's get straight on to Kathy, who's in Nottingham. Hello, Kathy.
Hello.
Hi there. So you recently found out from your sister that she'd been abused by their father as a child.
Yes, it was a couple of years ago.
And how do you feel about it now you've been told?
Well, she actually told me because she lives abroad and she felt like she sort of needed to unburden herself. But now, because I'm still in this country and so is he and the rest of the family, and I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I can't tell anybody about it.
Yes. And so this is something that information that you've no idea what to do with.
No, I don't know what to do with it at all. And I feel like I can't sort of go against what she wants because she doesn't want me to say anything to anybody about it.
So
and because it's not my secret as such, I don't feel like I can because she doesn't want me to.
But it is your secret now, really, isn't it, as well, now that she's told you?
Yeah.
And is this the same father, your father and her father?
It is, yes.
And it didn't happen to you?
No.
No, OK. Denise?
Well, the fact that she started to tell somebody means that she may be beginning to come to terms with getting some help and talking about it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that anybody must think about in this situation is he in a position to do it to anybody else? And that's very difficult, but it's something that you can't escape, your duty to other people. I quite agree that you shouldn't betray her confidence at this moment. I think that it would help if you talked to there are several very good helplines, and there will be details on our website, or the telephonists will tell you before you finish this call. I think it would help you to talk to someone, because you now are carrying a burden and you have to deal with the family every day. I would make it clear to her that you are there for her, and so will other people be if she does feel she needs to tell. And perhaps if she begins to realise that there may be a need to tell, because I don't know whether either of you have children, but that's when you have to start thinking about what's going to happen within the family and indeed in the wider world. There's a lot to think through here, but the fact that she's told you is a beginning. It's a very good beginning, and you can move on from there. And we'll help you at any time if you get in touch.
Are you still in in contact with your father?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No.
No, OK. And did it come as a surprise when she told you?
It sort of answered a lot of questions about our childhood, but he is still in touch with one of my younger sisters.
And does she have children?
She does, yes.
I'm afraid that that puts a very different perspective on it, but I still think there's time to talk to your sister and to talk to the helpful agencies and see if you can find a way through that isn't extra damaging to her. But the thought of potential future victims is something that you can't dismiss.
No, that's why I have a problem with it, really, because she's actually been for counselling and everything before she actually told me, and she said she feels like she's dealt with it now, and then if I go and bring it out and say anything to anyone, that it will all be stirred up again, and she doesn't want it to be.
Yes, the problem is that, that as Denise is saying, it may very well be stirring it up for that part of the family, but there's a possibility, just a possibility, that he may now be damaging somebody else, and they're going to have to live with this for the rest of their lives.
Yes, that's why I'm starting to feel guilty over not saying anything.
Yeah.
But as Denise said, the support is there, Kathy. You know, all those details will be on our website. So I think Denise is right. You've got to talk to somebody and work this through for you now.
And unfortunately, there's no way around it. She's going to have to work through it in her own head.
She's going to have to work through it. She doesn't... I would not further traumatise her sister by saying, sorry, I'm going round the police station this afternoon. But this is something you have to talk about for the sake of other people.
And also, if she does do that and her sister says, look, I want nothing to do with it, I'm not pressing charges, then she's going to get... There's no case anyway.
An alternative might be to face the abuser and say, we know, we are watching. Now, that can sometimes be enough, but I think she should take advice. There are experts in the field who help.
Thank you.
Kathy, thank you. Thanks very much. We've got Claire, who's phoned in from Kent. Are you there, Claire?
Hi there.
You found out that your mum's father abused her and her sister. And you found out that he also raped your mum, is that right?
My grandfather
Your
raped,
grandfather.
my grandfather sexually abused me and my sister.
You and your sister, sorry.
And we found out that he actually raped my mum, and my mum had a baby from him.
Gosh, oh, wow, that's something. How are you feeling about all that now?
Both me and my sister are really angry at my mum. The fact that she put us in that situation.
This is one of those things we just said. It's a generational thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have, you know, that abuse happens. It's this knock-on effect that continues throughout a whole family's lifetime.
Absolutely, and I understand your anger at your mother. If she had spoken out, you would not have been abused. But in fairness to your mother, we're going back some while, and I have watched the picture over sexual abuse change so much. And when I first became an agony aunt in the 70s, I thought I was going to go out of my mind because of the number of letters I got about a subject I'd really known nothing about. It had never impinged on my life. I thought maybe it happens once in a million times. And suddenly I have a pile of letters like this, sometimes from women in their 70s who'd never been able to talk to anybody. And suddenly there's this faceless woman on the radio that they can tell. She lived in a climate when, A, she probably wouldn't have been believed, and B, nobody would really have done anything about it. So yes, she did let you down, but I think she's been very adequately punished over the years, and knowing what happened to her children must have been a crucifixion for her. So I would try not to be angry with her. If he's in a nursing home, he's in a place where he can't hurt anybody. I think that you need to talk to somebody to get out the anger and pain you feel and decide what, because you're perfectly entitled to tell about it. You're perfectly entitled. It's your choice. I think if you will talk to the people we will find for you, you can make some decisions, because you need an outlet for the very justifiable feelings that you have. But as far as your mother's concerned, if she did wrong, and she did do wrong, she's been more than punished, in my opinion. To know
Could Claire and her mum get help together? You know, sometimes
Yes,
it helps.
family
And your
therapy.
sister as
Family
well, because this happened to your
therapy
sister as well.
can be wonderful. They could get help as a family. Sometimes people prefer to talk about it completely by themselves.
My mum
It's a
doesn't
very
wanna talk about
individual
it.
thing.
Your mum doesn't
No,
want to
not
talk?
at all. No, not at all. Me and my sister talk about it and we comfort each other. But my mum, as far as she's concerned, he had a hold over her and he's a very controlling man.
So she's yes, she's damaged goods as well, isn't she? I mean, there's no two ways about it. She's as you said, you know, she's had to live with this
and see it happen to her children. But the terrible thing is, and it's something that I think it's difficult for us to understand, you can still love your abuser. If he's your father, I get letters saying, I love him. I know what he's doing is wicked, but I love him. Because he may be, in other respects, a loving father.
Yes.
Now, he doesn't really love you, but to a child, it's very difficult to separate the loving aspects, the person who, you know, gives you your pocket money, carries you on his shoulders, does all the things fathers do, from this person who is robbing you of something beyond price. So very complicated feelings, and there are people who patiently work through this with you, and perhaps in time, if your mother sees it's helping you, she'll allow herself to be helped as well. Stay on the line.
That helped. Did that help, Claire?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
Thank you, Claire.
Okay. We've got Julie now, who's in Manchester. Hello, Julie.
Hi.
Hi there. You were abused by foster parents from the age of 10 to 13.
Yeah.
And you did tell, because you told a teacher who eventually went to the police, but nothing could be proved.
Yeah.
And you're saying that because it was your word against his, that subsequently this has had a catastrophic effect on future relationships.
Yeah. Basically, he didn't actually rape me, so there was no medical evidence. So the police came in and said, you know, had there been my birth family, we would have been sent back to them. But because we were already, myself and my sister were already in the care system, they wouldn't take that risk in case we made further allegations. So we were moved into a children's home. We were then fostered again, but I was just absolutely terrified of the foster dad, and nobody would understand why I was so scared of him, because they obviously didn't believe me about my other foster dad. And since then, I've just kind of isolated myself and shut myself off, because I just can't trust anybody.
And this is 20 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
And still now having an effect on your relationships, the way you view men.
Yeah. I was in a relationship for 9 years, but we didn't actually live together. I can't live with a man in the same house as me. He was very understanding and very patient, and we did actually have one child. Trying for that child was torture, because obviously, you know, you've got to do sets, or you've got to do certain stuff to become pregnant, and I couldn't do it. It's just too hard. We split up 4.5 years ago, and I've been on my own since, and I can't see how I'm ever going to trust anybody enough to let somebody into my life.
It does have a devastating effect, Denise, doesn't it? Right through people's
The
lives.
thing that really upsets me about this is that if you go into care, if you're being fostered, it's because something's already happened to you, bereavement or something else. You are traumatised, and then you're put into a situation where you're traumatised again. What happened to you was utterly, utterly wicked, and you were let down by everybody. But it doesn't always have to be like that. I'm not saying there's a magic wand anywhere, or that overnight you can have your life back. What I am sure about is that if you will let people help you, and we can put you in touch with them, you can, bit by bit, undo the damage. It's like a dawn. Bit by bit, you begin to fill in that hole in your life until you have your life back. He robbed you of something. Don't let him go on stealing from you every day for the rest of your life, which is what's happening now. You really can be helped, and you will be believed, and you will learn to trust again if you let us help you, will you?
Yeah.
Will you stay, Julie, will you stay on the line now?
I
And let us put you in touch with people who can talk you through this. And as Denise said, you have to stop allowing him every single day stealing this part of your life that you should now be enjoying.
Yeah.
Will you stay there?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll put you in touch with someone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The overriding thing here, really, Denise, is that it can be a huge bomb that goes off in the centre of a family, but ultimately you have to think of future generations, of the fact that it could be happening. That person who abused you could now be abusing somebody else and wrecking their life.
And it's very, very difficult for small children to take that responsibility. But adults around them in the family cannot shirk that responsibility. If you know somebody is abusing, get help for them, because they are sick and they need help, they need stopping, they need removing from temptation. And if people keep covering it up, if we all conspire, you know, and I don't know what would happen if somebody came in my family and the instinct would be to say, no, no, you're wrong.
I'm sure it'll be all right.
But you have to face up to the fact that it does happen. I don't believe the world is full of abusing people, but they're there and we have to stop them.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you. Well, as we said, if you've been affected by anything that you've heard here today, then our helplines and information can be found on our website. That's www.itv.com/thismorning.
And we're right back after this. Don't go away.
It's a chunky for your hunky.
40, it's a real turning point. At last, you know who you are.
Being 40 is great, especially if you look 30. Rock creates Retinox Plus Serum. Its patented technology doubles collagen production, so in your 40s, your wrinkles could appear reduced.
Life begins at 40.
New Retinox Plus. Rock, we keep our promises.
I can't stand bad odours. Oh, dear. At last, I found something that really works.
It's Oust. It gets rid of bad smells.
If you could see bad smells, you'd see most air fresheners just cover them up. Oust gets rid of bad odours on contact.
It smells clean.
Oust really works.
It's wonderful.
And for your bathroom, the Oust Mini Spray. It's just perfect to get rid of those nasty bathroom smells. Don't cover up bad odours, oust them. SC Johnson, a family company.
Wash after wash, that hair colour you love can fade.
So to protect it, I use the greatest care.
L'Oreal Elvive Colour Protect, with a combination of UV filters and nutrients to protect and nourish your hair. 70% more colour radiance.
For me, it's the best care for coloured hair.
Elvive Colour Protect from L'Oreal, the UK's #1 colour care programme.
For a tasty hot snack without all the hassle, hey, there's only one. Hot Pockets.
New Hot Pockets from Maggie. Crispy, fresh-baked tasting pastry parcels that are packed full of delicious fillings. New frozen Hot Pockets. The crispy, fresh-baked taste.
Hot Pockets.
Relive the magic of David Essex. Oh no. All of your favourite songs from the ultimate heartthrob. Includes Oh What a Circus, Hold Me Close, and Silver Dream Machine.
I'm gonna make you stop.
David Essex, the greatest hits, out now.
Walkers have reduced the saturated fat in their crisps. They've squeezed it down by 70%. But the taste is just as massive as ever. Just thought you'd like to know.
Were you promised your endowment would pay off your mortgage and probably provide some extra cash? Are you now facing a shortfall? We may be able to help recover the money you're owed, but time is running out, so contact us today. Even if you've sold, replaced, or surrendered your policy, you may still be entitled to compensation. Claiming is easy. Just call 0800 050 1155. That's 0800 050 1155, or apply online.
You won't believe what you can buy at Carcraft for just £99 deposit and £99 a month. This Vauxhall Astra Coupe, Mercedes A-Class, Toyota Yaris, Ford Mondeo, and this Land Rover Freelander, plus hundreds of other cars at Carcraft. That's just £99 deposit and £99 a month. And what's more, every Carcraft car comes complete with 2 years free parts and labour guarantee. So bring the warmth of summer inside and view hundreds of makes and models in our indoor heated motor show. Carcraft. We make it nice and easy.
It's 10% day this Friday and Saturday at Homebase. That's 10% off everything, even items already reduced. Homebase, make a house a home.
Next week on GMTV, the best of British talent. He's the bin man with the X Factor, and now he's living the dream. It's Andy Abraham. He's football's boy wonder, whose feet normally do the talking, but Wayne Rooney talks exclusively to GMTV. The biggest stars on the biggest breakfast next week.
It's the chunky for your hanky, eh?
Welcome back. In just a sec, Emmerdale's sauciest femme fatale, Nicola Blackstock, whose actress Nicola Wheeler joins us on the eve of her departure from the Dales. And look what she's done to our crew. Look, they're absolutely exhausted, the lot of she's worn them out. But first, 4 other women who could give Nicola a run for her money, actually. It's the Loose Women themselves. What's on the show today, guys?
Hi there. Today we look at the prickly subject of sex addiction. Medical problem or excuse. Plus, he is known simply as The Voice. The lovely Russell Watson will be here, not only talking about his recent success on The Two of Us, but he'll also be singing for us. Also, the Nolan with a voice. Bernie will be here.
See you later, thanks, guys.
Now then, in the 5 years she's been in Emmerdale, she's tried it on with the local vicar, outraged the village by sexually seducing a teenage schoolboy. There's more.
The shame,
Yeah, no,
the
there's more.
shame of it.
Most recently, she's been seen trying to steal her brother's boyfriend, Ivan. Now, he's the bisexual bin man. Yeah, you with me?
Yeah.
Now, this is just an average day, really, in the life of this little minx.
Everybody, this is Nicola, my half-sister. You've been having an affair behind my back, behind Ashley's back, my own sister.
Do you want to go upstairs?
Cute.
Close your eyes. I'll give you a visual aid. Well, do as you're told. Will you marry me, Nicola?
You're a loser. You'll never make anything of yourself.
At least I don't pretend to be something I'm not.
You'd be nothing without me.
No, Nicola, you're wrong. I'd be the happiest man in Yorkshire.
Ivan!
What's wrong?
Can you open this?
She's cringing.
What are you
She's absolutely
thinking?
cringing watching that. So funny watching you watching that.
know, going,
oh,
no.
So she started off quite naive, really, all that time ago.
She was a little sweetie, really, but they'd always established that she got hurt by men, and now she's doing the hurting, which is quite nice.
So the turning point would have been because there is sort of she has been sort of tinged by sadness, but a personality change. When do you think?
I think the Bernice Carlos affair changed her. The betrayal, not only from, obviously, her fiancé, but from her sister, was massive, because she thought she had a good relationship with Bernice. And from then on, hell hath no fury.
So how come, and you say that you left because, and you have gone now, haven't you? Been out for about 6 weeks, although we haven't seen you leave yet. But how can you get bored with a character like that?
Well, I think it's just...